Cause we came up off of slinging Mary Jane, slinging Mary Jane, slinging Mary Jane. We came up off of slinging Mary Jane, slinging Mary Jane, slinging Mary Jane. Hey, G-R-E.
So Chuck, let me ask you, how was it working with your sons in the family?
Well, the boys is, boys will be boys, you know what I'm saying? It's tough at sometimes, because sometimes you got to shake their legs, get them out the bed. Hey, man, because we kind of work in split shifts. So at times it's like, me and my younger brother, we may open the shop 8 o'clock in the morning, and then say it might be time for, my other sons to come in, at 2:30, 3 o'clock. And if they done been out all night, like on a Friday night, Saturday morning is really rough for them. And I understand, because we used to get up, we used to party late, but we was those type of guys, like we always tell them, man, we would stay up all night. Kelly, like in the hustling game. Yeah. We would stay up all night and still rotate that, rotate. Sometimes have on the same clothes. Yeah, I would do a 24, a 48 or whatever. Right, might get 2 hours within, but that's what I got to kind of pound in them, because when the money start rolling in, they get spoiled. Like with any child or whatever. I'm not saying they street people, which sometimes they think they street people, but they're not. They haven't been to the ins and outs. One of them done some, things in his life that he think was a criminal element, like may have sold a couple of ounces of weed on the side when, doing high school or something. Other one might have, sold some pills to his high school friends and stuff, but that's not the streets. But I gotta shake them sometime. But I love working with them, because it's a work in progress, and we just growing. And that's,
One of your sons is like the CEO, right?
Yeah. Nico is the CEO. He the young CEO. We always, make fun of him about it sometimes. And I always tell him, even these other guys that we have, nephews, cousins on the squad, and they're following your lead. So whatever you do, they're gonna follow behind. They don't follow behind me and my, younger brother Scratch. They don't, because they see us up every morning. It's nonstop with us, but we're older guys. So we've kind of been there and done that, and we know what's at risk. So it's for them, they have to kind of bump their head a couple of times. And we're not going to allow that. And, we're always going to be there. We got their back constantly. We'll talk about them and say like, y'all some marks for not showing up. But we going to stay there until they do show up, because it's the family business. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I love working with them, man. I really love working with them. Yeah. Teaching them, the ins and outs of how to be entrepreneurs and to keep it going.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. So how has being a dad changed your life?
It really has changed my life, because I didn't have a father in my life, a grandfather or nothing. So I said to myself that I was going to try to be there for all my kids, which everybody know I done said before, I have 10 kids. And it's hard at times, because, my girls live out of state. I have a daughter that lives in California, a daughter who lives in Kansas, and my youngest daughter lives here with me, and then the middle daughter, she lives here with me. And they're, the two that lives here with me, they're kind of like spoiled, because they can always run to dad and get this and that. My youngest daughter, which is 15, is Peyton. She always, hey dad, can I get these? And all she have to see, like, it can be some $175 Jordans or something. Can I get these, dad, please? And she know that's gonna melt my, if the price go down, can I get them? But what I'll do at that point, I was like, okay, since I'm kind of like a bachelor at this point, I'll be like, okay, but I got some chores for you. So I might make her come over and do my laundry, fold it up, clean some stuff, just earn it. Yeah. Earn it, so you won't think that it's always a handout or whatever.
Right. Or feel entitled.
Yeah, or feel entitled at all, know. So that's how it works with them. The other one is, Rayanna, she's an inspired actress. She's even had a couple of, not speaking parts on the Reservoir, is it Reservoir Dogs?
Reservoir Dogs,
yeah. Because she's part, Native American,
Okay.
So she's had some, like, like bicycle riding and in the living room scene, but no speaking, because she's an aspiring actress and she want to go back to where I'm from, Los Angeles. I want to move to LA, Charles. I'm like, oh no, you know what I'm saying? That's what she's telling me, Dad. You know, I want to move back to LA. I was like, I don't think you're ready for that, babe, because LA is a different animal, especially when it comes to young actors. You know, inspired actresses and stuff, because they can get caught up in drugs and stuff. They get exploited real quick, like. So that's kind of like a, it's a no for me now.
Yes.
For me, you know, and it's a no for her mom.
I mean, with it
I mean, because we're in the music business, and if it becomes that time where we're traveling and we can look out for her too. You know, I have family there too that can probably look out for her, but you know, kids are gonna be kids. And she likes to party a little bit because she's, you know, like Tony and hers, they have a lot of friends at OSU, and you was a grad of OSU, and you know that's the drinking school.
Right.
You know what
drinking
I'm saying?
school.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that kind of, I kind of take that into consideration a lot. So, on that, it's a no for me right now. Yeah.
So let me ask you, Chuck, why did you want to become a part of Black Dad Code?
I wanted to become a part of Black Dad Code because, you know, I sat down with you and Kev and we started talking. We really had like a episode without even the cameras on. And it felt so good and the energy was so good. And I wanted to get out and spread the message, you know, to dads, period, all over the country, because sometimes, you know, black dads, white dads, Latino dads, we get a bad rap of not being there. Even the white dads at some point, they don't exploit it as much as they do with us, that we're never there. That's why the incarceration rate is so high with the, you know, in the black community and so forth and so on. But we need to get rid of all those stereotypes. And that's why I wanted to do the show. So we can, even a guy like myself who has multiple, because I have 6 sons. So I wanted to get out there and be like, hey, I'm a part, you know, in all their lives. I talk to all of them. I'm not abandoning none of them. You know, we talk on a regular basis. We get out and do, you know, different things when we can. Like I said, I work with a couple of them. One of my sons is in Houston doing tech, you know, because he graduated from OSU with a master's in computer, you know, technology or whatever. So he's out in Houston doing his thing. My oldest kid he's a real religious guy. He's into church. He does the music with his wife. He's like the youth pastor at his church and so forth. And the middle 2, Tony and Nico, you know, as you know, they work with me and, you know, we work together in the marijuana business and so forth and so on. And then I have a 15-year-old, which is a twin to the girl who always want everything. She probably gonna see this and be like, that's not me, Dad. But, you know, they're twins and he plays, you know, he's a basketball fanatic. Not that I'm putting it, he think one day, well, he hopes one day that he make it to the league. And my brother, you put that in his head? No, I didn't put that in his head. He put that in his own head. And I got to show him how hard it is to get to that level, or he got to work hard if he wants to make it to that level. And then my youngest kid is a 9-year-old, and he's Timothy, and he's really trying to figure himself out. He's young, you know. Right now, he's in that kind of rebellious stage where he's talking back to his mother, and he won't listen for nothing. And I always tell her, hey, pack his shit up and bring him over to my house, and we'll go from there. Because sometimes, like I've seen, like me and you discussed, I've seen an episode with the lady Ayana. You know, whatever. I don't know if I'm getting her name right. The one that Oprah. But she did say that sometime you know, I don't want to really get into this to disrespect black women, but she did have an episode saying that at one point, you know, the black men got to be taken out of the home of the woman, you know, to show how to, you know, become a man, or he has to spend a lot more time with the father in order to, you know, become a man, because a woman can't teach a guy how to be a man.
No. So do you raise your sons differently than your daughters?
I can say I do. Yeah.
And how so?
Cause I probably was spoiled, you know. I was spoiled the girls, you know, more. They can call and get in, you know, like, hey, Dad, I'm really kind of, well, can I get this and that? And I'll be like, oh yeah. Then the boys, I'll be, nah, it might be time for you to get a job, my brother, you know, or work or work longer hours at this job, But no, I do. It is a difference, you know, and you can tell. And then having kids, and even this, like Nico is the CEO, and we put so much emphasis at a young age on Charles Jr., which is his older brother, and he's bringing to my attention since he's the CEO now, and you know, and he works his own companies. See, y'all thought he was gonna be the guy. You know what I'm saying? Because we put so much, and he does have a master's and everything, and he's doing his thing. But he was like, "I'm the one that got us where we at now." That's how he tried to put it, like I told you so. But he was the hard head growing up.
Yeah.
So
But I'm gonna tell you this one thing that's funny with brothers and stuff like that, because you know, there's always gonna be that push for, I'm gonna be better than him. I'm gonna do more.
Exactly.
That's like
And
my
that's
little
probably
brother,
what
man. I'm gonna tell you, man, my little brother
Yeah.
is crazy about that, man, because he'll like his biggest deal is to try to make more money than I ate every year. So every year it's like, hey, let me make more money than my brother. Let me do more. Yeah, it's a competition. It's like, it ain't never been no competition, man. It's like, but that's funny how siblings, like.
It's a competition. That's the way it goes with
Yeah.
siblings.
Yeah.
It's gonna always be a competition.
But that's a good thing,
to
like
see
I said,
who's
too.
better. Even with the younger twins, it's a competition.
Yeah.
Y'all like him better than me. Y'all think, you know, even the girls, you know, say that. That's y'all favorite. I'm like, no, babe, you're my favorite. Your mom, that might be her favorite, but you're my favorite. Just to try to equal it out, you know. But we try to spend as much time at, you know, both of their events. He plays hoops, she's in pom-pom and does her cheering thing. And we try to spend equal amount of time, you know, at both events so no one feels left out.
With the things that's happened today, or been happening all our life, but still happening with police brutality and things, how do you talk to your children about dealing with police?
I mean, because my son, even the youngest son, has been, the 15-year-old was with his uncle, you know, say a couple years ago, and he was young, and they got pulled over, and they smelled marijuana in the car, so they put him, the uncle, and one of his friends on the curb, and he didn't, you know, that didn't set right with him. And we all, you know, have the conversation with him whenever you know it's wrong out here at some point, that the officers are not supposed to be doing that, especially to the adolescents. So you try to talk to them about it. Once you start driving, which probably next year he's gonna start driving, you really have to, I'm gonna tell them to turn their camera on, first of all, since we have the cameras now. And especially if you didn't do nothing at all, you know what I'm saying? So turn your cameras on and start filming the police and be like, hey, officer, sir, be polite, you know what I'm saying? Don't be disrespectful. But you can be polite and honest in the right way, like, hey, why did you stop me? Why did you pull me over? What did I do wrong? But they can't get smart with you and out of line. Just tell me, you know, which some of them will. Not saying all of them will, but some of them will. But you still have to be able to make it home. That's the thing with us. Be able to make it home so you can tell your story at the end of the day. Be able to make it home.
That's one thing too that you really, like I said too, that we just need to focus on. So, I mean, it is, like I said too, whenever you get put in those situations where they're talking to you crazy and stuff like that, that's one thing too. But you just need to be able to get home so you can make it.
Don't be a hothead.
Yeah.
Get home so you can be able to tell your story and report it to someone.
Right. Okay. So how do you feel about the type of music your sons make? Because I know you talked about the rap music and stuff earlier. So how do you feel about the type of music your sons make?
And I feel good about most of the music, but I still have to let them be who they are. So right now they have music that it's really like partying music. It's getting high, partying music. because we're in the weed business. You know, they have songs. They have, a good song called Confidence, and they have and it just talks about how the female like them because of their confidence, how confident they are, and how they move in certain situations. They have another song that's kind of hot called Drunk as Fuck, and but this is just them being young men, you know what I'm saying? They go out on the weekends, and it was just a party, favor. And I really like the kind of music that they make because I'm trying to gear them into the, not so much as far as, don't talk about all that drug dealing and what you did and killing your ops and stuff like that, because you haven't done none of that.
You don't live that life.
I've lived that life, but you can talk about it from my perspective, and like I said, they think they may have lived that life on the little things that they've done and, in their lives. But for the most part, I've kind of been the A&R guy and kind of, like, hey, you don't want to put that out. But I have some nephews that have lived, that have lived the life. And, a nephew from Atlanta that's kind of lived that life at a young age. And he liked to talk about it and stuff like that. So, I mean, I can't knock him from, because he has a cut called Trap Talk. And it's talking about how he used to be young, living in the trap and doing whatever and I can't knock that. I got to let him be who he is.
Right, because he's telling his truth.
Yeah, because he's telling his truth. So, but I try to just be true to the music. You can tell stories if you're a good storyteller, and but you got to do you sort of have to do what the kids are buying, and that's what they say. Hey, we can't be corny. Right. We can't be square. We have to do what the kids are buying, and most of these other guys are not living that. That life out there. They're just they're seeing it from a different perspective and living in those neighborhoods, because we know if they were doing that, they would be locked up like Young Thug is right now. So if you was doing all that, you would be in jail with Young Thug.
Right.
Because they would be trying to throw the RICO Act at you. Right. Because they use all those lyrics. Yeah. They'll go and use those lyrics in those Instagram and Facebook posts on you. Yep. We have a video out there where we're showing ounces and pounds of weed, but we have it legitimately. Right. So we can get out there and do that. We're not doing it illegally. So, I mean, I'm proud of the music that they make, and I just got to let them be themselves at the end of the day.
So, Chuck, let me ask you this. So if everything were to go perfectly with our platform, what do you want to see accomplished on Black Dad Code?
In the Black Dad Code, I want to see us do HBCU tours, prison tours. I want to see us go inside of these communities, inside of these prisons, and let these black men, Latino men, Caucasian men know that it's a life after prison. Because I went to prison, Kelly's been to prison, but you have to realize, like, when I went to prison for the 3 years that I did in California and Arizona, divided into that, I said, I'll never, ever come back here again. I'll never do this again because I don't like somebody telling me when to eat, sleep, and shit. Especially I don't like showering with 30 people at one time. If you living in a pod, all y'all going to shower. Okay, tier 1, it's your shower time, and we're in there with 30 other swinging dicks, and you don't know who's on what or who. I mean, that's just uncomfortable. I barely like showering with my woman sometimes. I sure don't want to be in the shower with a lot of other guys, but that's a whole nother story. But that's what I said in my mind when I went. I said that, no, because I went for what I'm doing now, for transportation of sales, and it was marijuana. But I was like, no, I'm never coming back here.
I didn't have that effect the first time I went. I wish I would have. Yeah. Actually, I had the opposite effect. Yeah. But again, I'm dealing with PTSD, so I take things to the extreme. When I first went in, I had a 5-year sentence. Right. And when I hit the yard, and I thought prison was going to be just the most terrible thing ever. But I remember I had just came back from war. Right. So prison was nothing compared to war. Yeah. And it was a cake. I was like, oh, y'all done messed up now. This is what the punishment is? It's full speed ahead, buddy. I ain't never quitting. Yeah. But then they gave me something to hold me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They gave me them. That's
Them
why.
lives,
That's
yeah.
why I
Yeah.
got lives. I knew God knew, and it's crazy sometimes how you can call your own future. I wrote a song when I was a teenager saying it'll take a life sentence to make me quit.
Yeah.
A rap song.
Right.
And when I got my life sentence, that came back to my head like. I called it, and that's when I quit.
wrote that song,
and I
yeah.
quit after that too. And it's funny how I wrote it ahead of time, because after I did that many years, and I realized the reward versus the risk.
Right,
At first, that little nickel, okay, I go away 9 months versus
Yeah.
having millions of dollars.
Right.
I'll do 9 months.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
but then when they gave me years, 13 years. Oh nah, ain't nothing worth
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And so for different people, it takes different things to
Yeah.
wake them up.
And
I wish I would have been like you.
And that's
after
what I
that
said.
first
I said
trip,
no
but-
amount of money, because I made, I'm not gonna go into that because of tax reasons, but I'm gonna say this: it's no amount of money that's worth your freedom. It's not point blank, and that's what I realized because my family was real deep into the shit. I mean, we were deep from Los Angeles to California. I mean, from Los Angeles to Oklahoma, doing the thing, doing it like big, on the Rick Ross level. I'm talking about the real Rick
Right.
Ross. But we were on that type of page. So, but I was like, once I got set down, I was like, no amount of money is this. That's just a slavery right here.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It was like I went back to being a slave after being a free. And I saw what it was like.
Right.
And that's when I was like, nah, not only am I coming out of here,
Yeah.
I'm going to do something to help more come out
Right.
and stop those from going to this.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. And that's why every day we try to preach to the kids that come, that kind of come our way or be in our, presence, that that's not cool to do that. It's not cool to go, because it seems like even in the rap game, going back to that if you go to jail or prison, that's a stamp for you. That shows your street credibility. That's bullshit.
It is, and
That's bullshit.
honestly, that's one of the things I like about our collective group, because like I said, you guys have served time. I've never been, like I said, my father's in, but like I said, I saw that and I was like, I don't want none of that. But
Yeah.
at the same point, like, I've never felt that I needed to serve time, whatever, to have that. But like I said too, some people feel like that. But like, that's why I love the collectivity of our group, because we can talk through this stuff.
Yeah, we can
like,
talk
and that's
through
one thing too that. You're getting to see every angle, and like I said too, we can go through that. So like I said too, that's why I love seeing your aspect of it, Chuck, and then Kelly yours too, and then like I said, mine. So yeah, we can hit all different aspects of it. So.
My greatest cred from all of that is not that I went, it's that I came out and I got back up and what I've done after.
Yeah,
And that's why I like
exactly.
what you said about
And
you
you
guys
kept-
going
and
to
you kept
prison.
pushing.
Because like I said, with him talking about going in, I never thought about that, but man, that's awesome to see. We got 2 African American males that's done very well after serving time. And like I said too, we can go in there and show these brothers and whoever else is in there, hey, there is life after that. And like I said too, I didn't even think about that, but that's,
And there is a way to take our skills and make honest living.
Yeah.
You know, when I came to the business school, everything they was teaching me in OSU Business School, I already knew that. I just didn't know what you called it.
Yeah.
I knew every concept.
needed
I was
to learn
I was getting straight A's and stuff, and the teacher was like, "How do you know all of this?" I'm like, "I've done this.
Yeah.
You just call it this,
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
I put that name to it. You already did it. If you making money and you hustling, you have a certain amount of business skills and business type of mind. You just got to push yourself to learn it in other areas.
Yeah. If that's what they always say, that if you can go out and sell dope on the street, you can become a manager or you can become a CEO of a company, because it's still the same thing. It's supply and demand. Even in this business that we're in, it's supply and demand. On anything, if you have a t-shirt company, it's supply and demand. You know what I'm saying? If people like your t-shirts, you better keep a good supply of it, because it's in demand. It's with hats, anything, apparel, drugs. It's supply and demand. It's simple as that. It's supply and demand.
All right, Kevin, let's get a closing remark from you.
just kind of going back what I said, man. Like I said, just the collectivity of the group, man. Chuck, thanks for sharing your story with us, man. And like I said too, like I always come back to, people get tied up, but with the amount of kids. But then, like I said too, your kids have done well, and then like I said too, you found a way to harness that in where you guys are working together, you're doing different things, and like I said, I love to hear the story just because, like I said too, you got a positive story because, like I said too, your kids are doing things and you're working together. So kudos to you, man, and like I said, more pride to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
This is what the platform is about. There's no set rule on how to be a dad. There's no set way. Some dads have a lot of kids. Some dads have a few kids. Some dads have one kid. Some dads are step kids. Some dads, there's different ways to being a dad. And that's the whole thing is, we have to look at every single way of being a dad and every dad's story and bring that into our community as a whole, because together we can do way more than we can apart.
That's right.
Chuck, what would be your closing?
My closing remarks would be like, just having the, like I said, it's got to be about family, and it don't have to be a bloodline. It can just be about your, the friends that you grew up with and just been knowing for years and years and years, and you still have that, because they use that like, blood is thicker than water, and that's not necessarily true, because some of your, even blood relatives will turn against you and do different things like that. I'm like, family is feeling, it's energy. To me, and we always have to stick together as family, even in the community. We have to go back and say like, hey, it takes a village. Right. That's what we have to stick with. It takes a village, because I've had, like one of my ex-wives remarried, and she remarried a guy who did like 10 years in the Fed prison, and he helped raise, some of my sons and show them the way of, you don't want to do this. I've been there, your daddy been here, there. You don't want to go there. And that's the thing that I always preach to my, sons, like, I already done been there and done all that, man. This is where this is the road that leads down. And that's what we want to tell youngsters. That path is this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so you don't want to do that. Take the right path. It ain't nothing wrong with being taking a good path in life. You don't got to be a street guy. Everybody's not a street guy or a gangster. That's my, closing thoughts. You can be a good guy and still make it in this life.
Black man, black fam, black fam. Thank you for watching Black Dad Code, where everything we do before family, nothing before family. On the next episode, we will be interviewing Mr. Benny Hayes. Thank you for watching Black Dad Code. This week's episode was brought to you by the Green Room Dispensary and Major High LLC. Please like, subscribe, and leave comments. We'd like feedback from you. What do you want to hear? Are there topics you want to discuss? It's just questions. So you can comment in the comment section, and we'd like to hear from you, America. And again, please like and subscribe to Black Dad Code.
Came up off of slinging Mary Jane, slinging Mary Jane, slinging Mary Jane. We came up off of slinging Mary Jane, slinging Mary Jane, slinging Mary Jane. Hey, GRE came into my district. Take off your shoes when you enter my whip. But she bad, but she bad, but she bad to the bone. I get much satisfaction, count cash and I'm gone. Niggas accident prone, always fall off. I ain't fanning no bro, made her take her clothes off. Just a trill young nigga, business since the scrolled out.